Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we just really come up with the chapter 11 because till now we have completed 10 chapters. So today is our last chapter but not the least. Tomorrow we're going to end this series by completing chapter 12 because there are 12 chapters that are most important for UPSC EPFO AO. So today's chapter is all about uh, Contract Labor Regulation and Abolition Act 1970 for UPSC EPFO AO 2025 by Maruf Chaudhary. So let's start, guys, without further wasting our time. So our first topic is Contract Labor Act 1970. All right, so let's move to the first slide of this chapter. First of all, the introduction. It was enacted in 1970, in force from 1971. It was, remember thing, the UPSC will gonna ask that in which year it was been enacted. It was enacted in 1970 and enforced from 1971. All right, so it started from 1971 but enacted in 1970. Remember this one. And objective, regulate employment of the contract labor and abolish in certain cases. All right, so its work is to regulate the employment of contract labor and abolish in certain cases, applied where 20 or more workmen are employed as a contract labor. So it is applicable to up to how much workers or members or workers? It is applicable to only 20. All right, so remember that thing. So enacted in 1970, enforced in 1971. What was its objective? To regulate the employment contract labor and somewhere need to abolish in certain cases. All right, so it is applicable to up to how much member? 20. All right, hope you really understand. So let's move on. What is the key definition? Contract labor workers hired through a contractor. All right, so contract laborers are hired through what? Contractor. These are the laborers that are contracted by the contractor for a individual time period. Principal employer, owner, manager hiring contractors. So who are the principal? Means the real employers are those. It might be the owner, the manager hiring contractors. For example, you know to construct a house, your dad or your family member hire some constructor, constructing laborers, isn't it? So they are come to your home to construct the house on the basis of what? On the basis of what? Say contract labor. So they come not as a permanent but contract labor. So contractor person supplying the contract labor. So obviously the contractor is the real person who is supplying all this necessary thing and contract to the laborers. Let's move on to another side. Applicability. Where it has been applicable, it's applied to establishment with 20 plus contract workers, contractors employing 20 plus workers, not applicable to worker of intermittent or casual nature. Remember one thing. So this is the most important thing that we should know, that it is not applicable to work of intermittent or casual nature. Means they are not applicable to work of intermittent or casual nature. Means not on a regular basis. All right, so you can't just go to a factory and suddenly hire those worker for your for construction purpose as a contract labor. You can't do it because they are already been employed or employee in some other factories, or maybe they are doing some kind of other work, casual works. You can't suddenly just take them and consider them as a contract labor. All right, there is a procedure that you need to maintain. There is a rules and regulation that you need to go through it. So remember this line. Let's move on to another slide. So registration and licensing, how it's done. Principal employer who must register establishment. The principal employer means the contractor must register establishment. All right. Contractor must obtain a license. A contractor should have the license to get the contract labor. Without registration, license, employment prohibits. All right, so without the registration and license, the employment will be prohibited. Hope you really understand this slide. Let's move on to another slide. Welfare and health measures. Now, what are the welfare and health measures that are being, needed by the contract labor? So first of all, the contractor is responsible for certain canteen if 100 plus workers, drinking water, restroom, first aid. All right. So remember this word: if there is 100 plus worker been working as a contract labor, it is the responsibility of the contractor to provide the necessary facility. First of all, the canteen facility. All right. If it is in more than 100 plus workers, there should be a canteen facility. Drinking water is common thing that you should, whether it might be in one contract labor, you should provide the drinking water facility. A restroom, first aid means the medical facility has to be there. If contractor failed, then there will be principal employer liabilities. Means if contractor is failed to do this, then the manager or might be the person who has given the contract to the contractor will be liable for this. All right, or will be answerable for that and going to get the punishment as well. Let's move on to another slide. So payment of wage is depends on contract responsible for wages, contractor responsible for wages, principal employer liable if contractor defaults. Wage must be paid before 7 days for less than 1,000 workers. Now these are the one of the most important points that you should be mocked up. First of all, what does it say? The contract responsible for wage. Contractor is responsible for the wage of the contract laborers, or the company or the manager or the person who hired the contractor for the contract labor will be liable for that. And this is the most important is this one. All right, this one is that wage must be paid before 7th day for 1,000 less workers. If there is a worker who are contract labor who are less than 1,000, then you should pay the wages before the 7th day of the week. Remember that thing. This is the most important thing, and UPSC will gonna give the focus here. The UPSC going to change this to 1,000 to 100, might be 500, might be more than 1,000. So if it is more than 1,000, the date will be changed. But if it's less than 1,000, then you must pay the payment before the 7th day. All right. Hope you really understand. Let's move on to another slide. Prohibition and abolition. All right. What are the prohibition? Government may prohibit contract labor if what are the things? Remember those things: working perennial work necessary for establishment, work usually done by regular workers, work requires full-time employees. All right, remember these points, guys. What are those points? Work is perennial, work necessary for establishments, work usually done by regular workers, work required full-time employees. These are the 4 points which prohibits the contract labor to be implemented or maybe come to the work. All right, government may prohibit contract labor on the basis of this force. Let's move on to another slide. Now, penalties are the most important thing that you should understand because it is given in the figure. Violation: if someone do violation of contract labor, means the contractor will fine up to ₹1,000 or imprisonment up to 3 months or both. Remember one thing, he will be charged 1,000 as a fine, or might be go to the imprisonment for 3 months, or might be combined both of that together might be happen to him. So penalty is how much? 1,000, or maybe imprisonment to 3 months, or maybe both. All right. Now let's come to the final question of this slide. All right. So this is the question that I just really make for you guys. So give me the answer in the comment section. So the Contract Labor Act 1970 applied to establishment contractors employing how many or more workers? So the answer is very simple. The options are being given in front of you guys. Options are 10, 15, 20, 25. The answer you guys very well in the first slide we have studied that how many number of the employments worker is required to come under this act of Contract Labor Act 1970. So give me the answer in the comment section. Hope you really like this video, guys. If you really like this video, do subscribe, do share with your friends, and do comment in the comment section. Alright guys, so see you in another video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.